Obviously, that's a fight where the fans are going to win, and it's going to be the biggest event of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
Speculation is running wild as fans look for answers. If the rumors are accurate, a bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis might become one of the most chaotic and talked about events in boxing history. Jake Paul shocked many by revealing that he and his team are working behind closed doors on a potential clash with Gervonta. Jake explained that discussions are happening, but said that if it does go forward, it would likely be an exhibition rather than a full pro bout.
Yeah, no, we're working on it behind the scenes to make that happen, and obviously that's a fight where the fans are going to win, and it's going to be the biggest event of the year.
What weight would you fight him at?
We're working on it, but it'd be an exhibition most likely.
We're in discussions with a lot of names: Gervonta Davis, Anthony Joshua, Badu Jack, Ryan Garcia, KSI, Tommy Fury. So there's a lot of people on the hit list.
He also claimed he's more than willing to take on Gervonta Davis, taking a jab at Tank's stature by poking fun at his height. He added that if boxing has no height classes, then he'd have no problem stepping into the ring for an exhibition or even more.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
However, Jake made it clear that Gervonta still has unfinished business with Lamont Roach. He said that before any serious talk of a fight with him could happen, Tank must take care of Roach first.
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were.
Jake also gave his take on Tank's initial fight with Lamont Roach. He said Tank didn't even look like himself, calling the match more of a sparring session than a true fight. Jake stated that Tank was lucky to walk away with a draw.
Man, he got lucky at the draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned. But god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Chris Algieri also shared his thoughts on the rematch, saying both men have history and previously fought in the amateurs, so Tank already knew what Lamont could bring. He also said Lamont's skills speak for themselves and that boxing fans already know how dangerous he is.
So, picking Lamont Roach, you're saying, oh, he's basically cherry picking is what you're alluding to. He has a history with the guy. They've been in the gym together. They sparred together. They fought in the amateurs. He knew the level that Lamont brought. Also, Lamont's one of those guys. You ask anybody in the boxing world, they know how good Lamont is, and it's like his record. You know, leading up to him getting to the title shot or getting his title win, it's kind of like, the Jamel Herring fight's really hard to forget. He struggled with some guys that you wouldn't expect him to, but he's really come into his own because the guy who was in the gym that everybody saw coming up has been realized now. So I don't think Gervonta Davis was handpicking an easy guy in Lamont Roach stylistically.
Expanding on that, Chris said Gervonta's team isn't clueless. They fully understand what both fighters offer and how either could cause trouble. He admitted their plan mostly worked, but they clearly underestimated Roach due to their history. He added both men are on equal footing, making things more intriguing.
Gervonta's team's not dumb. They look at what this guy can do and where he can give him troubles, and it certainly worked out that way. Did they overlook him a little bit in terms of being like, I beat him back then. He struggled here and there. I'm just too good. I'm on a different level. I think that Lamont really stepped up. So I'm going. Gervonta's that good, but guess what? So's Lamont.
On top of that, Kenny Porter, Sean Porter's father, gave his view and said that Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach is a classic example of two fighters who grew up in the same system. He believes Tank's familiarity with Roach made him take Lamont lightly, and that nearly cost him.
That was definitely, in my opinion, just watching it, that was definitely a case of a guy growing up with a guy in the neighborhood, coming from the same city, same areas, not necessarily respect. You spar, we spar. We boys, we friends, we know each other. Do we hang out after the gym? Most fighters don't hang out after the gym anyway, no. But what do? They train together, they jump rope together, they run together, they put on their boxing shoes at the same time. They be talking a little bit. They might, hey, look at this on my phone, right? You get calm and relax with that person. So I think he underestimated the situation.
Sean Porter then said Tank has to deliver at the highest level in the rematch. He also mentioned that Roach deserved more respect the first time, and had he been promoted better, the bout would have gained more credibility and hype from fans and media alike.
Davis and Roach too. How do you think this plays out the second time?
You know, Davis is supposed to step up and show the level that he's on.
Right.
And I always say this about boxing. Boxing does itself a disservice by not promoting both sides. I think you did a better job promoting Lamont Roach. People would have expected that fight to be what it ended up being. It was a good boxing match.
Right.
And in a lot of ways entertaining for multiple reasons. But, you know, I think if anything, we know that Lamont is on the road to Tank Davis. Now it's time for Tank to elevate. Do I think he can do that? I do. If he elevates, he should beat Lamont Roach. But when Lamont elevates, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be a good fight. The first one went the way I thought it was going to go.
Okay.
Jeff Mayweather added to the conversation, reminding everyone that these fighters know each other extremely well, with shared gyms, sparring sessions, and amateur ties. He said that kind of familiarity changes how fights play out and often surprises people.
I think the one thing that is the most important thing that nobody's talking about is the fact that they did fight each other when they were young, growing up, when they were kids. And sometimes stuff like that actually has a real meaning on who's scared of who or whatever, you know. And I mean, I think that Roach went in there and proved that he wasn't scared of Tank at all.
Or do you think, hey, it doesn't matter if how hard you punch if you can't land cleanly like he did in the first fight?
No, like I said, I think that what it goes back to is that they both fought each other, and that he's not scared of Tank. Like everybody else is terrified of Tank, and when Tank catches him, basically that's what it is. The fight is over with.
Jeff Mayweather also gave some stern advice to Tank. He said that if Gervonta wants to beat Roach this time, he needs to start fast and dominate early on.
His next fight, I think that if Tank doesn't start fast, be looking for whatever it is he's going to try to do within the first 5 rounds or 4 rounds, I think he's going to lose. I think that he's going to lose to Roach.
Jeff further noted that Tank tends to start slow, just like he did in their last fight. If he doesn't change that in the rematch and pick up the pace early, Jeff believes he could be walking right into another loss.
I think that, I don't know if that's the right thing to say. I think the one thing is that he has to start faster. He has to be looking for a knockout in round 1, round 2, round 3, every round really. But those early rounds is where normally he just gives those rounds away. It's almost like you can be a guy that really not that great a fighter that will still end up winning rounds.
Paulie Malignaggi also shared his view on Lamont Roach's first performance. While some fans claimed Roach overachieved, Paulie said it wasn't surprising. He praised Roach's experience, his long boxing background, and the discipline of his team for preparing him the right way.
He still fights them, It's just Lamont came very prepared, overachieved on paper. Really, in reality, if we look at between the microscope, Lamont is a very experienced guy and has a lifetime in boxing and has a great disciplined team behind him. And they knew exactly how to approach this, and they approached it very, very well. So when it comes to this rematch, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, where is the rematch? Do we know where it's going to be? Is it?
It's Vegas.
I
think it is Vegas, yes.
You're doing the rematch in Vegas. So just when I thought...
T-Mobile Arena.
Just when I thought
nice.
They couldn't get any dumber, they pull a move like...
Floyd Schofield gave his prediction, backing Tank Davis to win in the rematch by stoppage. He said that Tank reuniting with his former trainer was a smart move that'll help him stay focused and sharp for this fight.
Tank about least stoppage, in my opinion. I feel like him bringing Calvin back is his thing, and I feel like he's gonna be more focused.
Similarly, Richardson Hitchens shared that he thought Tank had clearly won the first fight and was surprised. It ended in a draw. He praised Tank's raw talent and fighting ability, but also gave Lamont his credit for competing at such a high level.
Fight, I really thought, like, you know, I obviously thought Tank would win. I didn't think it would be a tough fight because, like I said, I just feel like, you know, I know what type of talent Tank come with, you feel me? Like, boy could fight, like, he really special. I done seen him in the gym, like, you know, like, he can fight. But Lamont was also somebody back in my head. I'm like, he been doing it for a minute too. Like, and I know when you've been doing it for a minute, that plays one key, but it also plays another key when a kid been doing it for a minute at the biggest stage and through their whole career. So what I mean by that, when a kid been competing at a high level when it was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, as a professional, getting to championships, they got a certain type of experience.
Following that, Hitchens said he viewed the fight as a close and competitive battle that was fairly ruled a draw. He admitted he didn't believe Lamont had done quite enough to edge out a decision victory in that contest.
I think when the fight, I think it was a 50-50. I think it was a close fight. I mean, a draw. I say it over and over. Like I don't think Lamont did enough to for them to raise his hand and take Tank reputation, everything that Tank built. Like,
and taking the knee, you felt that should have been called a knockdown?
Yes, it should have been called a knockdown for sure. I've never seen that in boxing, but you do gotta realize though, like in boxing, if a guy if something wrong with you, something getting your cup, something is up with you. How do you take a pause in the action?
In amateurs, you could do that.
Yeah, in amateurs, they do tell you that. It's on the rule, but take a step back and take a knee.
Hitchens also addressed the controversial knee bend, saying it should have been ruled a knockdown. That moment could have affected how the judges scored the overall bout.
They do tell you that because amateur stuff happen with your headgear or something. It could be a malfunction. It still got to be able to know how to take a break. So, you know, Tank probably thought hold up, let me take a step back. Hold up, but, you know.
Meanwhile, lightweight fighter Ingram, who sparred with Gervonta Davis, offered his take. He confidently predicted that Tank will end the rematch in dominant fashion, saying this time he won't allow the judges to decide and will knock Roach out cold.
Who'd you see winning that fight?
This fight, Gervonta, I feel gonna knock him out.
But Ingram admitted that Tank likely didn't expect Roach to handle his power so well the first time, and that threw him off. He said this time round, Tank will enter the fight better prepared and with a much more serious mindset toward Roach.
Per my personal opinion, I think I wouldn't say took Roach like Roach was a nobody, but I think he felt like he was already gonna knock Roach out, and if Roach couldn't handle his power, so I think that kind of surprised him. So I think this fight, he's gonna be more going in there, taking it a lot more serious, being more serious about it from the beginning of the rounds, because I feel like the way he was fighting at the end, if he had started fighting like that from the beginning, he probably would have been knocked Roach out.
Oscar De La Hoya also shared his thoughts, warning not to count Lamont Roach out. After closely watching Roach, Oscar said he realized how deceptively dangerous Lamont is. He's the kind of fighter who strikes when you least expect it, and that's what makes him so threatening.
Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside that squared circle. It's going to be a tough night for Roach, but you can never count him out. You know, watching him fight up close and personal, he's sneaky good, which means he can catch you at any time. He can land combinations sometimes at will without you even knowing it. You know, he's that sneaky.
Roach himself spoke confidently ahead of the rematch, saying he now feels like a real champion. He claimed he's ready to finish things for good and believes he fully understands Tank's game now. Roach promised he'll enter this fight fully prepared and leave no doubts in the ring.
Like a champ, like I'm supposed to. I've been in the gym, I've been ready. Time to ramp it up, kick it in gear, and get right to work.
I'm gonna ask you a quick question about the fight. The first fight with Tank. What did you see in that fight that can help you propel into the next fight?
I saw all I needed to see in that first fight. Trust me. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Obviously, I didn't do enough to win, so I'm gonna make sure we do more than enough.
Paulie also pointed out that when fans watch Lamont Roach, they won't see blazing speed or one-punch knockout power. He said Roach doesn't pop off the screen the way Tank does, who's clearly blessed with natural gifts.
Gervonta had natural God-given talent. He had natural blazing speed, twitch muscles, and power. Lamont didn't have that God-given talent, but you know where they evened out the stakes because it was such a big difference? Character and backbone. Lamont has a ton of character and backbone. Gervonta has none. So as soon as you push back on Gervonta Davis, he's looking for a way out. You push back on Lamont Roach, he's trying to get in your face. And that sort of evened the stake. That was, if you watch the fight, that evened up the whole thing. That evened up the whole.
Instead, Paulie said what makes Roach special are his solid fundamentals. He's a disciplined fighter who sticks to the basics, remains composed, and executes sharply in. That's exactly why he's so difficult to defeat in the ring.
Like I said before, I think with Lamont, we always knew that it was all there.
Yeah.
Well, you looked at Lamont with a naked eye, though, and you say, okay, he doesn't have overabundant speed, doesn't have overabundant power. He's a solid fundamental fighter. He doesn't have any special, particular God-given talent that you can add to the technique there. But you know what he did have? He's an intelligent fighter with a solid game plan. He knew how to fight Gervonta because, like you said, they have a history. But again,
but a world of fighters who lack fundamentals, because we're in that world right now.
Yeah.
Those guys can stand out. And Lamont's that guy.
Well, Lamont has...
Elsewhere, Showbiz the Adult stated that Roach must win the rematch if he wants to take full advantage of the fame he's getting. If not, he risks being forgotten. He also warned that some fighters lose focus after reaching the top and hoped Roach doesn't follow that path.
Roach, listen, bro. Brother, you can't be in silk pajamas after a draw. I'm concerned. This is what I want to say about champions. A lot of times, people see the challenger as the rough guy, as the hungry guy, and not the champion. But there's a reason why champions become champions. And I'm talking about reigning champions, because they are the ones with grit.
Coach Kenny Ellis also shared his prediction, saying the rematch will be different from the first fight. He expects another competitive bout, but this time cleaner and more technical with precise punches. Ellis thinks both fighters will adjust and bring something new to the table.
Like I said, they both at top of the game. I see a competitive fight. Nice, clean, crispy shots like the first fight. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't speak on what I seen, but the fight will be different.
Right, because you could strategize and do different things.
Yeah, it'll be different. Lamont can do a little bit of everything, man. He always been like that since he was a kid, Good fight, top amateur, top pro,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great pedigree, man. Great team of people, great family, He can do a little bit of everything.
In the end, regardless of whether Jake Paul ends up fighting Tank, everyone's focused on the rematch between Tank and Lamont Roach. With input from former champions, trainers, and current pros, it's clear this isn't just another boxing match, it's a career-defining event. Share your opinion in the comments. Do you think Jake Paul versus Tank will ever happen, or will the rematch ruin those plans? Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates.